between the episodes on Eisenholm. Alongside our new elk friend, the journey home was far quicker than expected. I guess half the water being frozen will do that. Completely on purpose, and not at all because I couldn't jump the fence, I left him in the garden while I crafted a bone flute. With one of these, I'll be able to call our elk friend from afar so he can jump scare me. I took him for a bit of a test drive around the castle courtyard before showing Dog the Moose his new brother from another mother. I think he was excited. For now, though, he can live with the bees, at least until we've got a proper stable for him. There's been a lot of suggestions for his name to be Horse, but I thought Buddy would be a fitting name since he'll be our only companion for very long treks. What about Huddy? Or Borse? While elk names are contemplated, I plopped a few trunks down by the docks before crawling under the castle to take advantage of our Jonas paintbrushes and light up the place a little bit. It's been far too dangerous under here, especially since Bowtorn and Shivers still love spawning during calm temporal stability. Once the underside was lit up, it was time to shave a little off the top of where the keep is going to be built. All this dirt is going to help kickstart the docks district with a bunch of rammed earth. With a few extra light blocks in hand from the castle, I then made my way down to our ever-increasingly dangerous mines to also make that a bit safer of an area. While I was down there, I also nabbed a few more slabs in the new relative safety. Heading up to the surface, I decided to try out quarrying some of our halite to break down for a big ol' salt grinding session. And that brings us to today, where we've got a few different things on the old docket. We're going to touch on all of the major builds because guess what? As the question that I asked last time was answered pretty much unanimously, we're going to spend the rest of the winter building. And then in spring, in the greenery, and the vernal dawn, that is when we will travel. I like that word, vernal. So let's load up on as much of this salt as we can carry and bring it all back to the house. We might have to make a couple of trips back and forth, but that's okay. While we do, let's discuss the plan for today. So I've got a quick little thing I'm going to do at the house, and then we're going to do a little bit of work in the castle, block out the dock district a little bit here, and then... Yes, thank you, bud. Then we might just go and put a little bit of a proper door on the old workshop. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves. We start with the kitchen. Well, actually, we start with the basement because we got to unload all the salt before we do anything else. And we're going to grab, let's see, what do we have? A little bit of extra wood that we don't... Let's grab a couple of oak logs. 2 will do fine. And we're just going to cut these into firewood here. And where's our chisel? There's our chisel. Make ourselves a couple of decorative fire pits. Now these 2 bits... Where's our pickaxe? And we're just going to slowly, because I forgot to go grab the new pickaxe head while I was in the workshop, slowly break our stovetop. And upon them, we're going to place our decorative fire pits. And then, put them right back. I, for some reason, never thought you could stack fire pits on top of fire pits, or at least not the decorative ones, but lo and behold, we can. So now, not only can we have 2 cookpots down below, we can put 2 more right on the stovetop, so that means we can cook 4 different cooking pots worth of food at once. That is a total of 6 crocks of food per batch. We've doubled our food efficiency. And that took, what, less than a minute? Yeah. Now, I think the real question is, do I have any other cooking pots? I think I absconded with the 2 that were here to put over in the tannery. Do I have any other ones? Cook pots? Let's just pump that brown coal in there. We don't need that where we're going. Cook pot? We've got 1. Well, we can put 1 on the stove there. So that's a start. I don't think we've got a second one, do we? Cook pot? Nope. Cook pot? Why would we have one there? Are there any hiding upstairs? I highly doubt it. Nope. In here? Nothing. I really doubt we've got any cookpots anywhere else hidden around. I know the 6 are over in the tannery, but those are gunky and full of sulfur. Is there anything left in this old dirt dugout? We got tongs, we got a hoe, we got a bed, we got our old fire starters. Our old panning spot here. Well, I guess our current only panning spot. What do we got in here? Dirt and bones? Nothing. And dirt and bones. No cookpot. Okay. Well, at some point, I'm just going to have to make another cookpot. Will I do that right now? Probably not. We'll see where the day takes us, but perhaps we will make a cookpot at some point. Or come across one? In a ruin? I wouldn't be surprised if I've seen several around, probably in close proximity. But for the moment, we are going to take advantage of the Calm Rift activity and start our day by actually getting that pickaxe, because we're going to need it. Finished off the old pickaxe head while I was grabbing more stone. Pickaxe head. And a stick that I kept on me just for this occasion. There we go. Now, with a new pickaxe in hand, we can head on over to the castle for our first little spot of outdoor activity and enrichment for the day. And hopefully no shiver jump scares when we least expect it during Calm Rift activity. So before I go and gather the materials I'm going to want, there are two specific things that we are going to focus on, at least for the beginning of today. The first is this outer wall. Let's just pop up here to get a good view of the wall. There we go. So you'll notice how I've got a few of these 5 segments. It's a little hard to see with the snow blending in, but we've got a section of 5, section of 5, section of 5, section of 5. And then it dips back in and just goes into a straight line until we get to the circle. That is mainly because I didn't do the math at the moment where I was putting it all together there. I didn't know where it was going to reach that circle, and, well, to be honest, on that single day, I believe I'd been doing quite a bit of outlining the walls. But I have done the mathematics, and I've realized I don't necessarily need to do the little 5 and then jut out. This wall can be a straight line, and between every 5 long section, just have a one little bit jutting out, very much like we have out on the gatehouse over there, for the 11 long section of wall between the 2 towers. We'll just kind of have that as a repeating pattern in a straight line all the way till it hits the rounded area. It's going to be a nice little outdoor arbory area, berry garden, flower garden, hedge maze, gazebo, domesticated of course. But that is going to get changed. And secondly, we can see just over my shoulder there, that dirt facade, just a square, roughly outlining where the keep will sit. We're going to put an actual outline for the keep, at least for the base level of it. I've done a bit of testing. Members on the Discord server have seen a couple screenshots of some of that little design testing I've done for the interior, and I think it's starting to come along quite nicely. The pre-planning is planning pre. So, let's just get these started. Let's knock down this wall, straighten it out, give it a little bit of flair, a little bit of style, and then get to outlining yonder little bit of wall, a little bit of keep, so we can finally, maybe, eventually, have a place to live inside this castle. We can start moving stuff in. Maybe. Maybe. Living quarters will probably be on the 2nd floor of the keep. Or 1st floor if you're into the whole calling it a ground floor as the first. I guess that really depends on if it's North American or European. But regardless, I'm a building. Well, that didn't take nearly as long as I thought it was going to. So, I've just cleared out my inventory of all of the excess rock that I had from the castle. So, let's prepare for the next leg of the day. Or several days, I guess. It's night again, as it always is in the winter. But before we fully get into the next leg of our journey, it's calm right now, so I kind of want to take advantage of that, grab a bit more grass from under the castle, and get ourselves just a bit more cob. Hello, Scythe. And the reason I want to start with this is just because if we can make enough cob to fill in the open gaps up top in the castle, then we'll know how much dirt we've got left to turn into packed dirt for outlining the docks. There we go. I think that's the entire second floor all done. So this quartz mine here, it does have traces of silver in it, if I'm not mistaken. And one day we will plunder it for its silvery bounty. But that is not this day. And we've got more problems to deal with here. Get, it's daytime, run. You good? Yeah, he's fine. So let's take a little look at the keep here in broad daylight. Okay, so this is sort of the outer ground level of the keep. And for the moment, I'm not going to fill in the floor just because we're going to be filling that in with proper castle floor material. But we will deal with that all in due time. For now, let's go over to the docks after I safely navigate my way down from here. Is this currently a security risk, being able to leave through the outer edges of the walls? Absolutely. Will it be fixed? Most probably. So at some point through here, I'm going to have to level this out a little bit more so we can make a nice little path going straight out into the backside of the customs area. Or I guess coming out into this side. Yeah. That's technically the northern side. Yeah, we'll come out this way. And that'll be a little gatehouse entrance right here with, oh boy, a lot of hills to take down. But it'll be an entrance right into our dock district from the mainland area. There's a couple different things I want to map out. I want to get at least a footprint for the front docks here. Hello, rabbit. Okay, goodbye. So coming out from the seaward side of our customs house that we still only really have as an outline at the moment, but we'll work on the docks quite a bit here in a minute. And by a minute, I mean today's going to be more outlining, but getting a lot of it all ready and blocked out so we can start doing some real work on it once the water line's visible. So tangents aside, we're going to get this front area here and maybe mark out a bridge going from our southern exit of the customs house area all the way over so that this little bridge here that we use in the winter, well, we're not going to have to swim when the spring comes. We'll be able to just mosey straight on across. Maybe for my own convenience, make a little staircase that leads up onto the bridge from this side rather than having to go all the way through, but we'll see how things go. Once I've got an actual pathway, it might end up being a pretty convenient way to go. Am I making sense? I don't know. So here, look at this. Remember this from a way back when I first started to kind of block this place out? Good. Good. Let's try and kind of replicate some of that today. So, let's start with something a little bit simple. We're gonna do the bridge. Okay, so from here, let's come out to, and we'll put a block there. And the other side, we'll come out another 2, put a block there. And then let's have this come out about 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 blocks. We're already losing daylight. Oh boy, son, why you betray me? Here he goes. They grow up so fast. My son. Right. Where was I before we lose too much light? Ooh, we have seconds. And that's 7. We're going to have ourselves a little bit of a tower here. So it's going to be a little bit of a rectangular tower. We're going a little bit more Norman style with this. 3-block opening. That'll do. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It doesn't need to be a very big one, I don't think. It's kind of just going to be a little bit of a guardhouse type of deal where you have to pass through it on either end of the bridge. Yeah, a little courtyard here. I might add an entrance here if the need arises to have a path kind of skirting along the coast to come up here rather than going inland over to that side of the customs house. Here we're going to have the beginnings of our 5-block wide walkway for the bridge, and then, guardrail blocks on either side. The exact design of the limestone trim I haven't quite solidified yet. I've got a few different mock-ups in my test world, but I haven't decided on which kind of style I would prefer. There are too many ways to build a nice bridge. Oh dear. So we're just going to go out 5 blocks, as that is going to be our first segment of bridge before it starts to slowly rise up a little bit until we get to a couple blocks higher, just so we have room for a boat to pass underneath with the sail and the mast and everything. There we go. Don't look like much, but it's the beginnings of something great. Now, as night has well and truly befallen us, let's take a look at the seaward side here. Okay, so the corner is going to be probably about where this corner is. And what do we have here? We got ice. That is the beginnings of water. So I'd say this is a pretty good corner pillar right here. Yeah. And from here we'll come out just a little ways out into the water. And a little ways out this way to this house. And so this top level here is going to be, well, of course, ground level, because it walks directly into our customs house area. And this area over here in the dark grassy area, well, that's going to be our Dock District Promenade. A fancy place for fancy shops and other such tomfoolery and shenanigans. But I'd say somewhere along here there will be a staircase that will lead down, and I'll make a lower stone platform there, which will then lead into wooden docks just along here, so the boats can sit out in the water, which is hard to visualize because it's all just covered in snow and ice. Let's have our stone area wrap around probably just to the edge of our actual customs house. I say stone, even though it's just literally super, super packed rammed earth. But it works. It looks kind of close enough to being some sort of like clay stone, almost clay stone, really. Oh, I should have been changing the textures. I'll do that when I build the walls. Whoop. That was sprint, not shift. We're going to start crawling along up this way here. There we go. And somewhere down here is going to be where our dry docks will sit. So we'll have probably either a building that sits on the edge here with a staircase going down inside to the dry docks, or possibly from the lower stone platform we're going to build out into that area once we cut down those 2 hills. Well, one you could see and one you maybe can't. We might have just a staircase going down there that leads along wooden docks into our dry docks area. And that's where we're going to build sailboats. Or at the very least 1 sailboat. Having a bunch more for decorative purposes would be fantastic, but we'll see where life takes us. Let's just pop down here and get the corner framework in. Just so we've got a little bit of a shape, which we can barely see at night. Well, I suppose while we're stuck in the darkness here and we can't exactly see what's going on at a distance, let's just cut down some of these little bumps on the water. There we go, and this one is a much taller challenge. Yeah. Well, we're doing it anyway. Because we're gonna need this space, aren't we? Yes, we are. Oh, ow, snow. Oh, there goes the shovel. Back to digging by hand like a Neanderthal. Not too bad, as the sun's beginning to crest the horizon. We have done it. Cleared these down to 3 blocks high off the sea floor. Or surface. Not sea floor, sea surface. Sea level? Sea world. There it is. And there we go. So we've got a little bit of framework here for the top part of the dock. So we're going to have to do a lot of leveling off over here, cutting down these mountains. Just so we can have our promenade be a little bit of a straight line. Or at least a level walking area. We don't need people tripping with slight elevation changes. That's how you get sued. And also how you just make a place that's a little bit unsafe. What is it? Anything more than a 2-inch elevation change needs to have caution tape? I can't afford caution tape. We're making this flat. Alright, we're gonna need to make another shovel if we want to start dealing with any of that. Did we make another shovel head? Did we plan ahead like that? Do we have another shovel laying in wait? Let's find out. Shovels? That's an axe. You kind of use it like a shovel. Tell me how you really feel. He's got so many opinions. He's a very smart lad. Speaking of the elk, while I'm on the hunt for a shovel here, there's the question of his name. I did not make a shovel. Fantastic. So I think with the fact that we have a moose named Dog and a rabbit named Cat, I think we should have an elk named Buddy. Bud for short. It just kind of fits, you know, with the theme. With the theme? Doesn't fit with the theme at all, I know. That's the joke. What do y'all think? You think that's a good name, calling him Buddy? Because he's going to be our buddy for these journeys. I've seen a lot of people recommend that we name him Horse, which I definitely thought of. That would be kind of funny, just name him after his function. I think we're going to be spending so much time with him, he's going to be our only buddy on the road. So, in a way, technically, we're still naming him after his function. Because Dog the Moose is more than just a dog that is a moose. He is acting as our stand-in for a dog. And Cat the Rabbit doing much the same thing, staying as an indoor pet. So I think with the elk being alongside us for all of our journeys ahead, because we've got a couple of them, not only the story content, but we have to make a trip down south at some point, I need wood colors from the south. Specifically acacia. And he'll be our bestest buddy. Buddy. Can I go in the water here or am I going to lose my stuff? Well, yeah, let me know what you think. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Are you indifferent to the name of our elk? Back to the Dirt Brigade. Okay, we got a little bit of a walkway going on between here and there now, so we can go kind of straight line. We'll widen this out at some point here when we're actually making the proper walkway path and cut down this oak. But it opens up right here, just behind our fruit trees. Before we get back into more forming of the Terra, I'd like to take a moment to thank this episode's sponsor, Lagless. In order to better serve the gaming community, they've honed their focus into what their customer base is typically coming to them for: Vintage Story and Minecraft. Many other online games that require server hosting are still available through them by request, so no worries there. But by focusing on the 2 games that most people come to them for, they can offer better support with a faster response time. So if you want to get your own Vintage Story or Minecraft server up and running, use the affiliate link on screen and in the description below to sign up today, and let them know that I sent you. And now, let's get back to playing in the dirt. So, with a fresh batch of shovels, I think, especially as we're under the darkness of night here, let's deal with some of these dirt mounds, shall we? Get them a little bit more suitable for our needs. And maybe, if we're good, mark out some of the towers that are going to be going around here. And I guess I could do some geometry, some little bit of math here and there to figure out some diagonal pathways linking up said towers. And by pathways, I mean walled walkways. Maybe not quite as wide as the ones for our castle, but they're going to be suitable. All right, let's get her done. A bowl of food, everything is better with a bowl of food. He's singing along with me. Alright, it's medium out, but let's just see if we can do a little bit more work out here before we get, forced inside by the horrors of the world. I thought I was going to do this a little bit later, but I have a feeling I'm going to want to cut down these trees because I need a whole bunch of oak logs. And also, yes, the sweater is off. Well, kind of. Technically, it's not. It's just being hidden using the vanity mod. We're going lumberjack mode right now. Gonna cut down a whole bunch of oak trees. I've got plenty of oak seeds, so I do not actually care about those. I'm just here to drop logs. Not a bad haul of oak logs here. So once we've got ourselves just a wee bit more daylight, we're gonna start putting some posts in the ground. We've got some walls surrounding the little dock district we've got here. Well, the outlines of them at least. But it ain't much of a dock district without a dock. The marine kind, not the medical kind. Although I guess a combination of the two would be a field surgeon. I'll see myself out. Okay, so the sun should be coming up any moment now. And now we're at calm rift activity, so that's good. Let's start placing a few blocks here. I have done a little bit of adjustment to the shape of this in my testing. So let's get those changes implemented, shall we? 3, 4. Whoop. 5, and I guess that corner is, where the first bit of wood's going. Whoop. There we go. The first log. So as I was trying to say before I so rudely lost my balance on a bit of snow, this entire design is going to be mostly made up of 5 block-long segments, and then a log in between. A little something like this. I go a 1, a 2, a 3, 4, 5, then I put the log in the wrong spot. Take 2. I go a 1, a 2, a 3, 4, 5, then I put the log down, and then we dive to the icy depths below. That's a bad idea. Especially since this is actually going to end at this corner here, and we're going to just reconnect right over into the wall of our customs house. So all this dirt, you can be reclaimed. There we go. And same idea with this one here. Beautiful. I think what I'll probably want to do, there we go, just set that all the way down to where it will meet the ground. Actually, this one in particular, no, we can actually cheat this a bit. Because these are going to be just a slight bit above the water. There's a reason I left those to be 3 blocks high, although now that I'm thinking about it, I should have torn them down to 2. That's okay. I'll tear those down when I'm ready to put the full floor across this whole thing. Right now we're outlining. This would be the same idea of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Three. And we're pretty much going to be repeating this pattern along for a little bit until we get to the corner just past this landmass before we turn to the left and go on that way. Keep doing more of the same. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to have to carve through this a little bit, I think, to be able to reach our goals here. And I'm not all that worried that there's going to be a little bit of this land just right on the outside here. Some of it is going to be covered up by the docks. So this particular little section here, this is all going to be hidden under the wooden docks that are going to go along this area here for the ships. And this side here, well, we'll shape it up a little bit. But if the land kind of encroaches up onto the sides of our wall, well, that's just going to look a little bit fancy. Give it a bit of a look like it's just built into nature and not completely separate and devoid of it. We like to work sustainably here and totally never deforest entire areas and never do anything to draw the ire of the Lorax. Not once. Never. We're just not going to worry about that now, are we? Okay. A little bit of mathematics here. Pop a couple logs over here. And this area here is going to be our entrance into the dry docks, where we'll then build our ships and sail on out into what will one day once again be water. I hunger. 2 block gap there, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then a 1, a 2. There we go. This little pillar can come down. We're not really going to need that. It's just going to be in our way. So, from here, on a straight line from here, we can probably remove this little line of packed dirt because the entrance into the dry docks is going to start right at that log. So this is all going to be open space where we're going to have our little staircase coming down to the work area. There we go. Alright. My calculations were actually slightly off. This is going to be the entrance to the dry docks. Right here. Along this line here. So I guess the rest of that could have stayed. Oh well. Such is the way of the world. Actually, no, it can't stay. I don't want the platforms to be of the same material as the walls. That would be too samey. We've got to make whatever kind of walkways are going through here into the same texture that we're going to have along here for the promenade where we walk. Got to be fancy lads with a fancy dock district. For trade and commerce and all that in a kingdom of one. I'm so alone. Alright, we may have lost daylight and we're soon to be in the darker parts of the night here, but we do have a good decent bit of outline all done here, including all of those walkways going around and the circular outlines for all of the towers. Except for this side. There's that giant landmass to deal with still. Look at it there. Peeking up out of the water. Mocking me. But I'm just going to fill in some of these pillars until I'm out of oak logs, and then maybe on some of those walkways fill in a few more oak slabs, just until I go through the rest of them, because we're going to need a whole lot more. We're going to have to go out and cut a forest or two out over yonder. But for now, just gonna use up what's left of my inventory, and I'll meet you back at the house. So, I think we've accomplished quite a great deal today. We got some lighting in where lighting has been sorely needed, broke ground on the keep, and gotten a whole bunch of work done on the dock district for getting it blocked out and ready to start filling it in and, well, detailing it, texturing it. The texture really has to happen. So far, it's really just been the one and only texture of the rammed earth. That's gotta change. Gonna have to figure out a little bit of a gradient as it gets closer to the water, probably adding more of the brick-like textures to it that'll be a little bit darker and give it a little bit of a gradient going downward. Make it look a little more eroded in certain spots. And I know I said earlier in the episode we'd get to the vault door entrance into our workshop today. However, this is what it looks like so far in my creative testing world. I think perhaps it looks just a little bit too vault-tech and not quite dwarven enough. Gotta get a little bit more of that Dwemer action going on. So I'm gonna fiddle with that design just a wee bit before we actually get to implementing it for real. So with that being said, I think this is where we're gonna call it for the day. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And a special shout out to all of our channel members. You are all the greatest. Thank you all so much for your support. It truly means a lot. And so I'll see you next time when we, very likely, round out this year and get ourselves right back to the start of spring.
And you know what that means. You all voted for it, so you know.
Springtime means travel. Which means at some point we're going to be making a little bit of a southerly journey to get ourselves some acacia and possibly other wood types like purple heart and ebony. Maybe some bald cypress. And of course, trips out into the wild beyond to tackle more of the story. We got some combat-laden shenanigans ahead of us by the sounds of it. Gonna have to get my armor back up to snuff. It's in need of a little bit of repair, as you can see. But until then, I hope you all have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, night, whatever time it is for you. You have a good one.
Bye. You know the only detriment to having these decorative fire pits here? Can't toast our buns no more. We gain the powers of levitation. It's a Christmas miracle.